Hey everybody, good morning. Hey, so yesterday we went to Eugsters Farm and we got a lot of apples. And yesterday I made an apple crisp, but I didn't tell anybody how I made it or show you guys any pictures. So I'm gonna go through the process today and make it. So we have 3 really big apples. Let me sing this to my head. I'm using 3 of these. I use half a cup of all-purpose flour, half a cup of rolled oats oatmeal. You can use instant oatmeal or just your regular straight up oatmeal. A third a cup of butter softened, not melted all the way, just softened. I use 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Use half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of nutmeg. What you do is you slice up all your apples. You put them in usually a 4-inch container. This morning I'm going to make it again for everybody for breakfast. It's kind of a surprise. I'm going to use a cast iron skillet just because that just sounds epic. And then you put you coat your pan in butter, put the apples in. After you put the apples in, the mixture of the flour, brown sugar, oats, cinnamon, nutmeg, you sprinkle that over the top. I like to pack it tight over the top because it kind of makes almost like a pie crust, and as everything melts down in there, it's wonderful. You set your oven at 375, let it cook for 30 minutes, and then it's ready to go. Alright guys, so here we have my mixture. There's my apples. I'm gonna get my apples cut and we're gonna get going. Alright, so here's my cast iron. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm a butter guy. Butter's better. Alright guys, so I got my apples all cut, I got my pan buttered, the oven's ready to go, so we're going to go ahead and put these in here. You just kind of make a layer of them. There we go, put the apples in. Now we're going to put our mixture over the top. Scrape the fork first. Alright, so we got our oven set at 375. For 30 minutes. Alright, see you in 30. Alright guys, the timer has ended. The oven is yelling at me. Alright, let's see what we got. Oh wow, that smells good. Alright, there you have Joe's morning almond crisp. From the apples we got at Eugsters. Zoomed in. Nice bubbling. And it smells amazing. Levi, what do you think of the apple crisp that you got for breakfast this morning? Is it good?
I'm sure he likes it.
Some? Hey, good morning everybody. So we're going to do our next apple recipe now. We are going to do applesauce. So for the applesauce, what I'm doing is I have 6 apples. I'm going to just cut them up. It really doesn't matter how you cut them. Just make sure you get the core out. I like to leave the skin on. There's some pectin in the skin that's a natural like solidifier, gelatinous thing. So usually you'll add pectin to things to kind of help them stick together. You don't need to do that if you leave the skin on. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to use about 1 to 2 tablespoons of cinnamon and about 1.5 teaspoons of nutmeg. We're going to fill up our pot with just a little bit of water below the line of the apples, and we're just going to let that simmer away until the apples are really soft when you touch them with a fork. So I'll do a video of me doing this stuff, and let's see how it turns out. All right, so I've got the apples on, I got them all cut, I got my cinnamon, my nutmeg in there. The water is just below the line of the apples. I don't know if you could see it in that last shot. The reason we do that is we are going to take this when it's all heated up. I'm going to put it in a blender and I'm going to blend it all up to make sure it's nice and incorporated. If you have too much water, you're going to have apple soup. So we want to keep that water content low because apples naturally have a lot of liquid in them. So we're going to let that come up to a simmer, let it go for a little bit. It depends on how hot your pan gets, where you're at, all kinds of stuff. Could take upwards of 10 minutes, sometimes 15. You want those apples really, really soft so that they blend well. And after that, you can store it however you would like. We put it in squeezable pouches for Levi, and we also put them in a little mason jar to hold on to them. So. We've got our applesauce all blended up. I'm gonna put it into a 1 quart mason jar. We'll see if it all fits in there if I need another one. And let's see how it turned out. Okay, so I got exactly a 1 quart yield out of that, which is pretty awesome. That's quite a bit of applesauce. I don't know what you pay for that in the store. I haven't looked, honestly. But there you go. That took us 6 apples, a little bit of water, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, and we have some homemade applesauce. You can see from the spoon test there, you still got a little bit of the chunks of apples, has a really good consistency, and loved sharing it with you. So another way that we've been using up these apples is just naturally eating them, right? Just cutting them up, eating them, because I mean they're apples. Another way that we've done is a couple times I have diced up the apples into really small dice, about that big, and I mixed them in with a buttermilk pancake mix. Now any premix that you want, you can use. We have a protein one that we use, and so what I'll do is I diced up the apples, put them in with the mix. Then I also added a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg, probably about a tablespoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of nutmeg, mixed it all up, and then just made the pancakes regular. And as the pancakes cooked, what it did is it softened up the apples, so you had that nice, like, almost apple pie-esque taste to the pancakes. So if you've got a standard pancake mix that you like to use, you dice up some apples, add a little bit of cinnamon, add a little bit of nutmeg, and you can make yourself a cinnamon apple pancake. Okay guys, so those were all of our apple recipes that we shared with you. There's so many more apple ideas and recipes you can do. You can do apple cider, apple jam, apple butter, apple pie. There's a specific reason I didn't do apple pie that I will get into later, about like a 50 pie thing that I did a couple years ago for Thanksgiving, that I'm traumatized by apple pie now. So if you ever find yourself with a whole bunch of apples, you know, some real quick simple recipes like an apple crisp, an apple sauce, putting apples in pancakes, you can put apple in bread. There's so many different ways you can use it, or you just eat the apples like our kids love to do. So if you guys have any ideas on apple recipes that you want to share, go ahead and comment below on what your favorite ones are. Maybe you can convince me to make one of them in another video. Thank you so much for being a part of the Scruffy fam. If you like what you see here, don't forget to subscribe, hit the little bell notification so you know when we post new content, and we have more content coming soon. Thank you so much for being a part of the Scruffy fam.